Hey guys, it's Dami here. Hope you're well. So, sales training, or not sales training, just some training for our leaders in the company for the week. So, it's about how to use your time. So, title, time. So, during the week, especially for those of you that are more full-time leaning, whether you're an account manager, an ad expert, or an SEO manager, when we look at the time of work, you're working 9 hours, usually 9 to 5 p.m. for the most part. And some of you log in earlier. And then obviously you're going to have an hour to eat or an hour for lunch. 1 hour that's just not super productive. Maybe to you going to the bathroom or your whatever. 1 hour fluff. Okay. And then you might have, as an example, I know many of you don't have that many meetings every day, but let's just say on average, another hour in meetings. Okay, so you're left with an average 6 hours per day, Monday to Friday, right? So a lot of you work remote and a lot of you have different roles. If you're an account manager, your role is very different to someone that's doing paid ads, because with paid ads, you can check for 15 minutes and make sure that campaigns are running and then go about your day. Whereas if you're an account manager or an account executive or you're on cold calling like ever, very different. You have to use your time differently. What I found with some of us in the company is that this 6 hours doesn't get used appropriately. When I check daily updates or when I check tasks that have been done, it's like reached out to this person, didn't rock up, done. Or checked on this ad campaign, and this amount of leads came in, done. Whilst these things are actions, what we want to do is be making sure that our actions are purposeful to next steps. And if they're not purposeful to next steps, you want to find something else to do. So this is, again, more so for people in particular that are doing, you can benefit from this, account managers, SEO specialists. So how can we improve our use of that 6 hours? Let's move this to the side. Well, very simple. A lot of the times we're focused on managing other people, because all of you guys are leaders of some department, managing people, fixing something, problem solving, or putting out a fire, right? Attending a meeting. Now, I'm going to show you guys my calendar, and obviously I'm CEO, so my role is going to be different. But if we let's just look at the middle of the week. Let's look at an average. Actually, let's just use a recent week. This is not probably the best example because I just finished doing the season for the dating show, so I didn't make as many calls as I usually do, but let's still look at this. So let's look at Wednesday, a random Wednesday. 40 calls were made. I spent the morning updating my sales deal flow and shortlisting for another cold caller to help with another division in the agency. Customer success. So customer success is when I'm fixing a fire for a cap that and solve it as fast as possible so it doesn't eat up the whole day. Because what happens is when you have a fire, right? I'm not going to draw a fire because I'm not the best drawer. I'll draw a fire. Let's just say this is a fire. This fire, it might only take 30 minutes. In fact, less than that. This is a fire we're talking about, right? It might only take 10 minutes of decision making. I'm just going to write DM for decision making to fix the fire or to get things in motion. So I'll do a smaller tick, right? Get things in process of being fixed for the fire. But what happens is when a fire occurs, this fire now takes up 2 hours of mental space. And I see this with many of you guys. And then what happens is by the end of the day, when you guys get to daily updates and you get to here, the amount of work that can be done in a day gets squashed to like 3 or 4 tasks, because again, there's only 6 hours of pure time. So if you have 3 fires, 2 hours, 2 hours, it's horrible too. Now you've burnt 6 hours. And then when I ask you guys, like maybe by Wednesday, hey, like what's been done or what's been fixed or what's been built, what's been improved, you're like, oh, well, these 3 problems distracted me the whole day, or this problem distracted me the whole day. Whereas what you can do, and what I've done, is when there's a fire that I need to put out, boom, I block it. All right, I have a block each day that is just the customer success. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't use it, but I know that it's there. So for example, when I'm planning my Monday, I'm like, okay, customer success. And this equivalent for someone like Brian, who's an SEO team leader, is, all right, SEO ranking success checkup minutes. It can be 15 minutes. But what happens is, you know that that is solely to put out a fire. And then you staple it in there. If it gets used, I like to use the green color. You can pick your own color. That means it's done. If it's not used, you can still do green and just write in brackets, NA, not applicable. And now what happens is you've now started to give yourself a feedback loop of, okay, awesome. I've already started to get things done because I've said maybe it's 2, 3 p.m., no major fires. But instead of looking for a fire to put out or looking to get stressed, boom, there's a part of the day that's just to put out a fire, just to deal with customer success, just to deal with, potential issues that can come up. And instead of it permeating or overriding the whole day worth of work, so it becomes like this, it just gets capped to that. And you'll be surprised once you make this a habit, how much you can condense an issue that seems to be huge into just a sequence of decisions, which brings me to my other point. When it comes to management, we talked a bit about fires here. We've talked about how you can have a block of time to use that, because then it'll free up the day to do other things that are of more value to the company or to your team. Attending meetings is pretty self-explanatory. I'll get to managing people last because that's most important. Attending meetings. When attending meetings, make sure, whether it's for clients and even for internal team meetings, you cap meetings to 30 minutes. The reason is because, again, if there's only 6 hours of pure work, and let's be honest, I work from home as well, guys, and I work corporate, head of sales for a company before I went full-time to my agency again, right? So I've worked multiple corporate jobs, right? So I understand what it's like to have to wake up and go into an office and perform and to do it from home, right? But let's be honest, a lot of people, when they're working at a corporate job, even if it's at my agency or anywhere else, that 6 hours really dwindles down into a pure 3 or 4 hours of actual work. Everything else is passive work. So here's how we can, again, be more efficient. Don't, just for the sake of getting through the day, right, put 1 hour or 2 hour or 3 hour or whatever for a meeting. Because what it does is it creates the wrong behavior pattern. Because imagine if we've got maybe nearly 30 people. If we had 60 people, and all 60 people were having 1 hour meetings, then with just 6 meetings, everyone has been done for the day. And we barely grew, we just maintained. If anything, we lost, right? But if it's condensed to 30 minutes and you have a really busy day, let's just say for whatever reason, I know Tabitha and Ty have days like this, and Michael soon, let's say you have 4 meetings in a day, 2 hours. And what it does is, if there is one meeting that goes over time, then that one's 45 minutes. But it also teaches you, all right, cool, 30 minutes. The reason why we do 30 minutes, you can have the back of your head, is because we need to keep this as efficient as possible. So some meetings will even be 15 minutes, okay? And as we grow, I'm actually going to probably even put in my Calendly. Oh, don't worry about that. You get the point. I'm probably going to put in my Calendly 15-minute call catch-up times instead of 30. Because if someone has come through a Facebook ad, again, you guys can see me doing this as the CEO because I think it's important to see how I look at each of your roles and how I also structure my day and how I expect you guys to structure, especially as we grow, especially if you're team leaders. But if I am even pitching a client, when I'm pitching restaurants, right, unless it's like a franchise, right, or a head office, a lot of my demos, guys, are 10 to 15 minutes. Really? And they close. I'll give you a live example. If I go to new clients, now let's typically talk about restaurants because NDIS is a bit different. Maximoon, the first time I pitched him was like April. The whole pitch was 15 minutes. Pricing, pitch, case studies, 15 minutes. This was an upsell. These were longer calls. The closing call with this guy's daughter was 15 to 20 minutes. Maple Dubai, that was over text. Hot Chills, that was about 20 minutes in person. But Ty helped sign that guy up. Shout out to Ty. These ones were longer. These ones were longer. This one was a series of meetings. It's a bit different. The actual sit-down presentation of A-Star was about 20 minutes, right? Lola Ran was different. Rang Wang, 20 minutes. Maybe less actually for Wang. Maybe 15 minutes. Kolonaki. Oh, guys, we signed him up on the spot. 15 minutes. Maybe less. Okay? Beleza, 15 minutes. Right? Little Z was a bit longer. This guy was longer. This guy's a yapper. These guys were 20, 25 minutes. Anyway, I'm showing you in real time. You don't have to take the whole day to talk, especially if you're talking to internal staff. Guys, please, I'm making it very clear. If I hear from other team members that you guys are doing 1 hour meetings, and a staff member took an hour of your time in the day, and it wasn't for like a really good reason, I'll have a chat with that person. Because I don't like that. It's not beneficial to them, and it's not beneficial to the team culture. Right? Now, do big issues happen? Yes. Do things happen when you need to fix everything and put things on pause? Yes. That's why it's good that we have these fragments of time that we're capping things off with. So if a big issue does come up, I have big issues that come up with the company weekly. I know, okay, cool. Because I spaced out my day, because everything else was 30 minutes, I've now got a lot of important things done. I've also hit my calls for the day done. So now if I've got a big fire to put out for an hour, it is okay. So with attendee meetings, make sure that it's 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Very important, because I'm going to be a lot more strict on this, especially from July onward. We have had to let a few people go on the Australian side in one of the departments pertaining to the social media side, just because they were really slow. Really slow. Right? And it's nothing personal. It's just that we are a startup. We are fast. As Mark Zuckerberg says, go fast and break things. But we're also developing better structures, better foundations. But those will keep forming over time. If you're spending hours of the day trying to create new processes, you are burning company resources, burning company money. I hope I made that clear. Managing people. Last one for today. So when it comes to managing people, I would say, oops, I'll remove this stuff. Whoopie. Okay. I would say that, we'll keep that. When managing people, people have a lag, right? So actually, I'll even show you with just ChatGPT. So you can see this in real time because a lot of you guys will ask questions on what I mean by this. How long does it take for a new behavior to become permanent over the age of 25 years old? Because the average staff member is in their 30s across the whole company, right? Boom. Okay. Thank you. This is exactly what I thought. I thought it was even a bit short, a bit shorter, but it was longer. 66 days. That's 2 months, right? For a new behavior to become permanent, right? Or to become automatic. Okay. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Neuroplasticity, so that's basically the brain's ability to just adapt and form new behaviors, doesn't stop after 25, but it takes repetition. It takes reinforcement, 2 to 8 months of consistent practice. So when a lot of you guys, I want to write this here, get upset at SEO guys or social media managers or other account managers, or trust me, as you guys know, but even clients, unfortunately, and I hate saying that because I hate giving my clients excuses, but it's the reality. 2 months, 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic, right? So when it comes to managing people, you will need to repeat yourself a lot. And I know some of you watching are going to laugh because I have to repeat many things to you guys till you get it. Now, as we grow, I'm going to be clear, probably by the end of the year, it was not even about my tolerance or you guys' tolerance, but we'll be hiring people more so on the sales side of things at the end of the year. I can't give them 2 months to prove that they're really good at sales, as an example, because I need to see leading indicators that they catch it. So a lot of the account managers that we have in the team, each of you guys have like a minimum 5 to 10 years experience being an account manager, right? So there's the room there. And then the first 2 months is really just about you guys adapting to the way our company runs. But if you're a cold caller or an SEO specialist, it actually will take more. Oh, sorry. If you're an account manager or SEO specialist, then I'm trying to see pretty quickly that you know what you're doing, because that 2 to 8 month period is all about the behavior changing, not the skill. So why do I go on that kind of brief tangent? When it comes to managing people, because you guys are all pod leaders and you have people underneath you that are helping within certain divisions, social media, paid ads, whatever, be comfortable repeating yourself and don't get upset when they let you down or when, because they make a big mistake, it leads to a client churning, right? I'm not going to blame you as long as you guys were doing what you were supposed to be doing, being repetitive, but in a tactical way. For example, if Slack messaging them doesn't work for whatever reason, they say yes, but Slack hasn't led to the improvement, WhatsApp message. If WhatsApp message, you've done that 2-3 times over the space of a week or 2 weeks, and that doesn't work, then do 2 of them together. If that doesn't work, then do a once per 2 week or once a month call, 1MC, right? Or do a text, because everyone's modality is different. And whilst we use Slack and WhatsApp for people as a team holistically, and it works, and this is not, by the way, a window for people to, or a door for people to open and say, oh, okay, now I can not use WhatsApp or not use Slack to respond to the team. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. If you're a team leader at this company, or if you're an account manager or a pod leader, no, you need to follow the SOPs, because people underneath you are looking at your behavior. But the people that you manage, you got to be persistently patient and aggressively patient so they can understand and form these new behaviors properly. But don't get upset with them, because if you get upset with them, it will actually delay this behavioral change. That's why if you guys sometimes see me being a bit more patient with people in the company now compared to 1 or 2 years ago, it's because through a lot of trial and error, I've now understood that this is how it works properly if you're trying to grow a big company like we are. And that's also why clients, if you notice, even though a few clients churn here and there, a lot of clients, even when there's things that are messing up, will stick it out with us. And the reason is not just because of contracts, because at the end of the day, if you're a company doing less than 10 million a year, a contract doesn't mean that much. It's more because we are forming behaviors with them and we are pacing the behavioral change. What do I mean by pacing? So let's just say there's a map or there's a finish line. Oops. So you start here. This is the midpoint, and this is the end of the race. And the end of the race is the new behavior. Let's just call that NB, starting behavior. Okay. Whilst they might, let's use an example. Let's just say it's a paid ads guy, and he keeps not reporting in Slack every day, Monday to Friday. I'm going to celebrate on the call on Friday in front of everybody if that week he went from 0, putting it in Slack, to 4. I want to be like, guys, big shout out to John Joseph, because John Joseph was able to, was way more consistent this week in celebrating 4. Because again, if it takes 6 to 8 weeks or 6 to 9 weeks for a new behavior to change, you need to celebrate the wins. If we go to the social media managers, hey, I'm giving fake names here. Hey, Josie, or a videographer, hey, videographer, great work. Thank you for uploading the video so fast. That was incredible. That was incredible. The social media managers have already started working on it. Really excited to keep winning with you. Great work. Boom. Celebrate it. Celebrate it. Celebrate it. Because those feedback loops exponentially speed up the ability to go from here to there. And then obviously once it's here, you keep reinforcing, you keep reinforcing, you keep reinforcing it so it can stick as a habit. And then eventually, we leave it. And that's why we have the wins channel. Because we're trying to create a culture, and forgive me, by the way, I should have been celebrating way more wins. But the good thing here is it makes people get that reinforcement. Boom. And they want to share the wins. It creates a really nice culture. I bet you if I look earlier in the year, the months when we grew the most in revenue, I reckon this year was the months we celebrated the most wins. I'm serious. I reckon. I think March we grew the fastest this year so far. Let me see. I could be wrong, by the way. Okay, in one day, look at all these wins. March 31st. Right. When Tabitha was just 2 weeks in. So that's my video for today. Managing time is really important. I think that's something a lot of you guys can improve on, myself included, but I really want you guys to focus on this going into July because there will be a more intentional standard of how to use your time as we grow. So yeah, if you're an account manager, now the final statement I might leave with is if you're, say, a cold caller or an account manager, and you've done these 3 things and you still have 4 hours left in the day, because a lot of these things can be done in 2 hours, guys. If you have 4 hours left in the day, get on the phones. Start calling some people. Call some leads. Hey, Dami, what's the pitch deck? Let me go out there and pitch some people. It's not going to ever be perfect, guys. Because remember, it takes 2 to 8 months, more so 66 days, for a new behavior to properly form. So as long as we're making steady improvements and we're celebrating the progress, which things have been progressing, then use the rest of the day to keep doing what you need to do. Build up business. If you're an account manager or a cold caller, you get commissions for that anyway. If you're an SEO specialist, if you're a paid ads person or pod leader, I would like you guys to spend more time researching. So if you know that, okay, all the campaigns are going really, really well, awesome. Come to me with other things or other strategies that you're exploring. Agnes spent her own money or from her salary to look into courses on AI and appointment setting. And that's been a game changer over the last 60 days in terms of getting more leads. These are the little X factors that will allow you guys to get paid more within Clientele Boosters, but even skill and upskill as a whole in life. These are habits. These are the traits. If you guys can do this, you'll be unstoppable. All right. Have a lovely start to your week. And I appreciate all of you guys. Speak soon.